Hi guys, this is Pastor Prophet Justin Roberts from End of the Age Bible Prophecy. I want to presentate to you my illustration book about the second coming of Jesus Christ. In it you're going to find the illustration book slides, and you're going to have me voicing over in the form of narration. So I hope you have great revelations from this presentation. God bless you all. Amen. So this chapter is about the 7 trumpet judgments. Revelation 8. Trumpet number 1. It says, the first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and it was cast upon the earth, and the third part of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. This is because the throne will be passing through the outer layer of the tail of the throne of God Neberu, and will be pelted with meteorites, space rocks 1 to 8 pounds, and obviously blood that flows from the heavenly throne, the altar. Trumpet number 2, it says, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures which are in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. This is because La Palma volcano in the Canary Islands, which is cracked in half, will collapse into the sea, and from the nitrogen from the volcano will cause a red tide algae plume. But the main thing is it's going to cause a mega tsunami across the Atlantic Ocean, destroying the countries which line the Atlantic Ocean. And this is what would happen to the east coast of America. You won't want to be anywhere around the Mississippi. This will be a fault line, and there's people making prophecies, a lot of people, about the Great Lakes being brought down, and America split in half, so to speak. And it's really possible because that fault line, so from New Orleans all the way through up Missouri up to the Great Lakes, Detroit down, Minneapolis and all that, basically everything left of the Appalachian Mountains could literally just crumble. So you won't want to be anywhere around there. The east coast of America, all in red there, that is because of one of the coming trumpet judgments, number 2, La Palma volcano collapsing in the sea, sending a mega tsunami across the Atlantic Ocean. So for the east coast, I would just say Appalachian Mountains is the safest haven. Trumpet number 3, a third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and it fell up on a third part of the rivers and a third part of the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and a third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the waters because they were made bitter. So this is the return of the Black Death comet, poisoning the water supply. Trumpet number 4, it says the third part of the sun was smitten, third part of the moon, third part of the stars, and a third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. This is 3 days and 3 nights of darkness, just like what happened in the Exodus of Moses. And then an angel cries out, woe, woe, distress, distress, distress to the inhabitants of the earth by reason of the other voices of the trumpet of the 3 angels which are yet to sound. In other words, distress is going to come at the next 3 trumpets which are left. But the distresses are supernatural. And I'll explain it as we go on. You'll see a supernatural. That the first 4 trumpets were all physical and measurable, but there's going to be a supernatural side to what happens next with the next 3 trumpet judgments, which will actually last until the very end of the age. So this is found Revelation 9. Trumpet number 5, the bottomless pit, what I actually believe is Yellowstone, is opened. Smoke rises from the pit, and it darkens the sun and the sky, and it says locusts come out from the smoke, and on their heads crowns. They had faces like men, tails like scorpions, and stings in their tails like scorpions. and they torment the people who do not have the seal of God in their foreheads. Now, that is the 144,000. In the first passing of the throne, Revelation 7, the 144,000 were sealed of God on their foreheads. So these locusts do not hurt the 144,000, but everyone else. And they torment them for 5 months, and the people are so tormented by the poisonous sting of the scorpions that they want to die, it says, but they won't be able to die. And the angel who has control of them, Abaddon, which is a destroyer, sort of God's angel of death kind of thing. He's the one who destroyed the firstborn of Egypt. He is the one who has key of the bottomless pit, and will also return at the very end of Armageddon to bound Satan in this bottomless pit. So that is the first woe. And what was the supernatural thing about that trumpet? Is that these locusts know, because the mark on the foreheads of the 144,000 is not a physical one, it's a spiritual one. You could say a supernatural one. So these locusts that come out are able to supernaturally see the supernatural mark on the 144,000's head, and they leave them alone. You can't measure that stuff because it's all supernatural. So trumpet number 5, which we've just seen, is the first distress, and that carries on for 5 months. And then the second woe comes hereafter, it says, so sometime after. And trumpet number 6, 4 angels are going to get released from the great river Euphrates, and they're going to go out to 4 countries or 4 empires which are still left, not under the New World Order, which will be China, Russia, North Korea and Iran, in my view. And they're going to muster up an army of 200 million men, it says, which I believe all them 4 countries could do. And these are going to be armed with tanks and with what it sounds like nuclear warheads on the back of trucks, truck-mounted intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads, because it says the lions had tails like the missile on the back of the truck. The tail was like a serpent, straight, and the serpent's head was the thing that did the hurt, like the head of the nuclear missiles. And it says they're prepared for 13 months, an hour and a day and a month and a year, to slay, it says, 1/3 of the population which are of mankind of the earth, which are left though after the first passing. So don't forget, you've had people saved by God. 2 billion would be the ones that are younger than bar mitzvah. So you know, you could have 3 billion, 4 billion being raptured. So it's not 1/3 of 7.5 billion. It's 1/3 of whoever will be left on the earth after the first passing. Revelation 10 is the angel coming down. He delays the 7th trumpet. Mighty angel comes down from heaven, clothed in a cloud, a rainbow upon his head, and a face as it were the sun, and his feet were like pillars of fire. And he swears by him who lives forever and ever, who created the heavens, the earth, the sea, the fountains of water, there will be time no longer, that in the days of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of God shall be finished, as he declared to his servants the prophets. So it will all be finished when the 7th angel sounds, which, if you remember going back to what the raptures, doesn't happen until the 2 witnesses have finished their prophecy. And in fact, in this Revelation 10, he says to John, eat this little scroll up. Alright, and John eats it. It's a bit like initiating a prophet. Maybe it's initiating the 2 witnesses when this angel comes down, you know. And he says, now must prophesy again, suggesting that whoever eats these scrolls up, maybe the 2 witnesses, have already prophesied before. You must prophesy again before many people, nations, tongues and kings. So he's initiating prophets to go out again into the world and preach, but to many countries and nations and languages and kings. This chapter is about the second passing of God's throne Nibiru. Revelation 11. And so the two witnesses will be given power after the temple is built, but before the Antichrist starts his 3.5-year reign, just before. These are the two olive trees, the two anointed beings, olive, anointing, tree, a living thing, being, and the two candlesticks, the two spirits of God, out of the 7 spirits of God, the same spirits that were given to Moses and Elijah. So these will be the two witnesses, Vesta and Ceres. Location where they start is unknown. Where they end will be Jerusalem, as it says. So they'll prophesy for 1,260 days. They're going to be killed by the Antichrist, King William. They're going to be raised from the dead after 3.5 days. They're going to ascend into heaven on a cloud, which clarifies Jesus Christ's ascension also. And it happens when the two witnesses have been killed. They lie in the street dead for 3.5 days. Because of live streaming, Joe Blogs is able to show people their dead bodies over live stream, social media, stuff like that. But after 3.5 days they shall resurrect. But they resurrect 3.5 days, and there's a great earthquake in the same hour. They ascend on a cloud. This is the second and last passing of the throne. They ascend on a cloud, and 144,000, I believe, will go with him at that time. Then Jesus will come for the dead. The angel will come for the living. This is the great harvest. And this is all before the 7 bowl judgment shall be poured out. The second woe is past. The two witnesses for 3.5 years were the second woe. What was supernatural about them? Well, being able to stop the rain by their word, being able to say, if I be a man of God, let fire come down and consume you, and fire come down from the sky and consumes their enemies, turning waters into blood supernaturally, bringing plagues on the dry ground supernaturally. Everything about the two witnesses really is supernatural. This is what makes them the second woe. But it says the third woe cometh quickly. So there won't be a break between trumpets or anything. There's literally the third woe is coming quickly. And this is the second last passing of the throne. Two witnesses ascend again after 3.5 days. They resurrect and ascend on a cloud. In the same hour, bang, Nibiru hits us. Second passing, huge earthquake, lock on, earthquake. And then the 7th angel shall sound his trumpet. And Jesus Christ comes on a cloud of heaven in Revelation 14. And he reaps the dead, which is the harvest. And an angel comes also having a sickle in Revelation 14, and he reaps the alive, the fruits which are still alive. And then the heavenly temple is opened. It's filled with smoke from the glory of God, and the Ark of the Testament, the Ark of the Covenant, the 10 Commandments are seen there. And then the angels come out having clothed in white garments, and they are given 7 bowl judgments. And then when they pour the 7 bowl judgments out. And then when the second passing of the throne happens, again you have them same words. You have the voices and thunders and lightnings and a lock off. But it says here in the scriptures, both in Revelation 11 and in Revelation 16, is that it'll be a great earthquake, and it'll be the greatest earthquake never has been seen before, and the cities of the nations shall fall and everything else. And then the earth passes through the inner layer of the tail, which is great hail. Great hail. There's the word difference. Not fiery hail like the first passing, but great hail on the second passing. These are approximately 66 pounds and over, about the weight of a talent. Like I said, the second passing of the throne, which we just experienced there, it happens in Revelation 11 at the end of the two witnesses, but it also happens in Revelation 16. This is the end of the second passing. So here's a checklist for the 7 trumpet judgments. Trumpet number 1, meteorites 1 to 8 pounds and blood, as the earth passes through the outer layer of the tail of the throne of God Nibiru, and so you have fiery hail and blood raining down on the earth. Trumpet number 2, La Palma volcano split but collapses in the sea, generates a mega tsunami across the Atlantic, wiping out like the east coast of America and that. Trumpet number 3, the return of the Black Death comet or asteroid, poison the water supply. Trumpet number 4 will be 3 days and 3 nights of darkness, just like the days in Exodus. Trumpet number 5, the bottomless pit, which I believe is Yellowstone, shall be open. It'll darken the sky. Locusts come out and they sting the people who are not the 144,000. Supernaturally, they'll know. They sting them for 5 months, and people will want to die because the sting's that bad, but it says they cannot die. Trumpet number 6, 4 angels come out of the river Euphrates to Russia, China, North Korea and Iran. They muster up an army of 200 million men, all armed with tanks and truck-mounted nuclear missiles, and they shall wipe out 1/3 of mankind, except for Israel shall survive, because it's written of. And then the angel delays the 7th trumpet until the time of the end, which will be the second passing of the throne. 2 witnesses finish their prophecy, they ascend. I believe the 144,000 will ascend at the same time. The great harvest of the earth happens, where the dead and the living are raptured. And then the 7 bowl judgments can be poured out, and that will complete the second passing of the throne, and Armageddon will come roughly 45 days after that. I've been Pastor Prophet Justin Roberts from End of the Age World Prophecy. God bless you all for watching this presentation. Hope you had great revelations from it. Please don't hesitate to give me a contact if you have any questions or queries. God bless you all. Please share this around because the time is short.